If you work in a school and you have any dealings with cover or recruitment, you'll have had these conversations before. It starts with you calling the agency or them calling you, and you start to discuss a role that might be able to help you with. Now, the first few conversations you have, they're full of details, a real clear idea and a real clear picture on what it is that you're after. But sometimes what happens is that with each of these conversations, the detail just becomes a little bit less. It's not because anybody's trying to hide anything, it's because you've given all the detail in the first few conversations. It doesn't seem to have made much of a difference. You've got a growing to-do list, and with each day that passes, there's a bit more urgency to fill that role. So you start cutting the detail down and give the absolute basic information. Now, what this means is that the agency has enough to fill the role, but you're still leaving it very much to chance on whether they're going to find you the right fit. Now, Friday last week, I went out to see a school in Rugby, and I went to see a head teacher I've never met before, but she'd invited me in for a quick chat. So we started speaking about the school, how they currently look at recruitment and supply cover, the agencies they use, what they really like about them, where things could perhaps improve. And I had a good idea on what the school's all about, a really good feeling about it. A few minutes into the conversation, she said, actually, one of the reasons why I asked you in today was because we have got something. I just wondered if you might be able to help me out with it. And she told me the details for these roles, but I just knew it was the watered down versions. So I asked a couple of follow-up questions. So the first one was, okay, well, what's triggered the need for this role right now? And then also, is there anything that's recently changed for the pupil that'd be really useful for us to know about? And that changed the whole conversation, because we then started talking about the specifics and the context around the role. So what's already been tried, what worked really well, what didn't work quite so well, what she thinks needs to happen next, and also the effect of having several different people in such a short space of time supporting this one pupil. What difference has that made the pupil in his day-to-day life? Now, this information for me was gold, because I think the more information we have, the better it is for everybody. When somebody starts a new role, whether it's a teacher or a TA, if they don't fully understand what the role is, responsibilities, the expectation, even the circumstances behind the role, it starts with an uphill challenge. And quite often those types of positions, they end within a couple of weeks, because the pressure to try and understand the situation, it just gets too much on top of everything else that's been done. So I think it's important to think about this, because going into that conversation, the head teacher had so much good information. She gave me everything I asked for. She was really gracious in her time and answering all the questions that I had, but it's made such a difference in our search. The other thing we have to think about is that behind every one of these staffing conversations, it's more than just a budget or just filling a role. There's a student there who needs support, and they want somebody who's going to be there long enough that they can make a difference. Now, what we have to remember is that each time somebody starts but then leaves the role, whether that's because they're not suitable or they've realised it's not for them, we lose something with the student. The student has taken time to build that foundation, that bit of trust, and then it gets taken away. When that happens a couple of times in quick succession, there's a real danger that the student starts to think that no adult wants to support them. Anyway, I thought that was worth sharing. It's something I've been thinking about since the visit on Friday. Hopefully there's something in there that's resonated a little bit with you. Hope you're having a great week so far. Enjoy the rest of it, and we'll speak soon. If you